what did you do, Mike? Mike, what did you do? Mike, what did you do? Coming up on the Fraudcast.
In the States or abroad, no one's safe from the talkers of fraud. In the States or abroad, no one's safe from the talkers of fraud.
The following goes beyond the show and beyond the gram to bring you all the fraud that's fit to be uncovered. This is the Fraudcast, and now, here are your fraudcasters, Hanekawa and Katrina.
What did Mike do?
Are you ready to hear what Mike did now? I think that's in part 2.
Oh, okay, we'll get to it.
You have to wait, like everyone else did, to hear what Mike did.
So my connection to the show, the app or whatever, cut out right as Natalie and Mike were explaining what they've been talking about. So I actually missed the last part of it. In any case, welcome to the Fraudcast. I don't need to say that. You guys know what you're listening to. Tonight we have a very special treat to celebrate the end of the season. And that is that we have Mr. Hanekawa with us tonight, Mr. Dravon. Everybody say hello. Did I pronounce that right?
Draven. You can do it. Dravon.
That sounds French.
That sounds French, yeah.
If you fancy.
Yeah, you're that very special guest here.
Oh, well, I try.
So this is the tell-all, the end of the season, and I started the Fraudcast with the tell-all of the previous seasons. So it's like I came finally full circle, and that's pretty impressive. So
that's right, huh?
You've only been with me since episode 4, but
yes.
Yeah, the first one was about the tell-all. So we are back at a tell-all. We're finally done with this goddamn fucking season. And we have a 2-night tell-all, 3-hour tell-all that we're going to talk about some highlights from that and what we knew about it and what we saw and sort of some discussion on that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the new cast of the Before the 90 Days, because the first hour of the first episode premiered on the app over the weekend. So some of us have been able to see that. So we're going to tell you a little bit about that cast. So that's what we've got in store for you today. You guys ready?
Oh, yes. Who do we start with? A tell-all. That's never a tell-all.
As Hetero Life Mate called it, the tell-some.
It's not even that. It's just, it basically was a recap. It was a recap show this time.
Right.
A 4-hour or 3-hour recap.
3-hour recap, yeah.
With a few questions.
Right. Well, let's start with Angela and Michael. Let's get them from the part 1. The key part of this is that Angela and Michael said that Angela said that they had sex 38 times over her one of her 2-week stays in Nigeria.
So she's very, when someone asks if she's sexually active.
When the nurse at the
active.
Uncomfortably active.
Ow.
I mean, and Mike was just like, with like a shit-eating grin, like.
That's
like fist bump, bro. Teach me.
But that sparked the conversation of like a round table for all the cast to then be like, how many times have you bumped since you started filming? Like, there's only a few people that were like, no way. Mike and Natalie, but that's because
you think they seem to. I don't know. I mean, I thought that they had the looks on their faces like, yeah, we're getting some.
I think that they had like a wild marathon when he first got there.
Yeah.
And then she started remembering things he did, and then the crazy started turning up.
Then the crazy happened, and that was it.
after the crazy sex, it just went to crazy.
Then it just went to crazy.
Yeah,
but do you have to be a little bit crazy to have crazy sex, or can you have crazy sex without being crazy outside of the sex?
You need to have just the right amount of crazy. Like there's like a bandwidth right in the middle, and you got to make sure you don't under or overshoot that.
Oh my god!
You have to have the right type of crazy,
I guess. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Michael, he's learning. Stop.
I'm pointing at her.
Unfortunately for Michael, there's a lot of Michaels. What the fuck, Mike? We'll say Mike.
Mike of the
Mike
aliens.
And Natalie.
Mike of the aliens.
Alien Mike. Yeah, he dipped down into maybe a little further than a little bit. I don't know. I don't like calling people... I don't want to call her crazy, but her behavior is a little off.
That's a very nice way, diplomatic of you to say.
I always am, right? Isn't that a complaint?
Yeah,
Isn't that a complaint? She's not mean enough. And that was pretty much it for them. We recapped that he didn't get accepted. I don't think they talked about her marriage. I don't think they talked about her getting married, even though it was leaked. But this was recorded months ago, so it's irrelevant.
Angela and Michael, they didn't talk about that because this was
wasn't there yet. That didn't happen yet. Technically,
this was filmed in the first week of December of 2019. You guys, so
that's right.
You have to think about what was going on in real time at the time that it was filmed. Like, we had seen pictures come out, and these are the same pictures that, like, Tanya with her cast thing on her and everything. So I've had ankle surgery that sucks. So
she's finally not scooting around. I think she's finally walking with like one crutch now. Like
she's had apparently a rough go of it, of her recovery and having problems and stuff. So I don't know, but you see in the pictures that came out of, like, when Tom crashed the party and stuff, Tanya's there with her boot on and stuff.
Right.
So that's that was when this was filmed. So this was back in December. Angela and Michael had not gotten married yet. And then I think, they talked about his visa being denied on part 2. Are we just going to do the whole, like, are we going to do the whole couple of part 1, or are we going to, how are we doing this?
I think we should just go through part 1 and then part 2, because some of it will only make sense if you count what they're bouncing off each other. And
right.
Then
so part 1, all that Angela and Michael was that they had sex 38 times over her 2-week stay in Nigeria.
Right.
That's
and then we move on to Michael and
Juliana.
Michael, Juliana, and Sarah. We'll say all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Life after lockup style.
I know, right?
And, of course, the big question came out that everyone was asking was what Sarah felt the reason for the ending of their marriage was.
Right. Was there infidelity?
Right. And that's when she goes, I'll let Mike answer. Which is basically like, I don't want to throw you too far under the bus. So you get to choose how many wheels go over you right now.
Right. And he basically says that he emotionally cheated on her,
which is still cheating, guys.
Relationships.
It's still cheating.
Right. With, like, conversations, like, people that he was, like, engaged in certain kinds of conversations. You want to say, I would say they probably sent.
I get it.
He was sexting.
There's nude pictures happening. There
Emotional cheating. There were nudes.
There were penis pictures.
And he was using WhatsApp, which is like, come on, guys.
He didn't dance around it, though. He owned up to it.
He did own up to it. It doesn't help that, like, 2 women that could probably shank you in your sleep are sitting next to you.
And they're working together.
Yeah.
Like,
be afraid, Michael. Be afraid.
Oh, my God.
So there was that. And then they brought Max and Cece out, which Hetero Life Mate was like, why you got to bring the kids into it? Like, he didn't think that was cool.
They did, but you'll notice because they talked about all the divorce stuff. They talked about Juliana being sad that her family doesn't speak to her anymore.
Right.
They go through all that, and then they bring them out. And you'll notice, like, even Angela freaking behaved while those kids were on the screen. Like, she didn't say shit.
That's good.
Max and Cece talks about how they like ice cream, and
they like Mike of the Aliens and Natalie, and Tanya and St. John.
Yeah. And Max shaded Anna while sitting right next to her.
What did he say? I forgot.
He said something about Max and Cece said that all the couples should learn more about the countries their fiancés are coming from and learn their language. And then you see this like little cloud come over Anna, and she like looks over and she's, I'm sorry. I mean, you can use apps too. It's a technology,
Yeah.
Technology helps. I'm like, he's like, bitch should have learned Turkish.
Right. Right. Well, jumping ahead just a little bit, like Sean was kind of shading them and was like, come on now, like, this has got to be difficult. And Anna's like, no, like, he speaks some English and I speak some Turkish. We can have a basic conversation, which I just thought was hilarious. Cause
if there was a Venn diagram of what they both understood, that in the middle would be a very small sliver.
Like they touch, like they might be touching.
They just kind of, just the tip of each.
Just the tip.
Sorry.
I think she was getting more than just the tip that that first night Marcel got there, because there was headboard tapping.
It's sacred.
There was headboard tapping. No, it was
they
just
did the
trees.
honeybee dance. The mating, the...
I'm not going to make the joke. It's too easy.
You should.
Is it too easy like Hanekawa?
No. She's actually very difficult. Took me years.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess you could ask if the honey pot was well taken care of.
No.
You told me to do it.
No.
Yes.
I got in trouble for that too. No more pot talk.
Pot talk. That's a whole
Honey
different
pot,
show.
cookie pot.
Edibles. Pulse engine. Okay, so we had Max and Cece come out. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see, what else? Anything else with them?
No.
Nothing really happened. I mean...
Nothing really happened. Like, this is literally a very quick rundown. Because Rob... Oh my gosh. The host, I want to call her Robinson.
Sean Robinson.
She gives me whiplash. Like, just when you start to get somewhere, she's like,
Wow.
okay, Robert and Annie, wow.
Yeah, well, and I've said this before, and I will apparently continue saying it till I'm blue in the face. Everybody who criticizes Sean for the hosting duties, about not asking the big questions, you guys, she is just as much a part of the cast as the cast members are. She reads the questions TLC gives her, okay? She's not going to ask anything more than what TLC has scripted for her. So stop bashing her.
Which is sad, but they aren't making her look like a very good host.
Right. They did better this time because they at least, had her ask some
pushback questions.
It was slightly better.
Yeah. Slightly. So we moved on to Robert and Annie.
Yeah. Annie said she's still waiting for Robert to come through with his promises. Address their differences over money. Annie said, first of all, if she wanted to be with a rich man, a gold digger, if she was a gold digger, she wouldn't be with Robert because he doesn't have any gold to dig. And that she was once with a rich man, so it's not about that. Robert said he actually was testing her with the trip to the thrift store. I don't know if that's...
So... her whole thing about I could have been with a rich man, but I chose Robert because he's poor. She didn't think that when she was going over there.
Right.
She thought she was going to get her freaking Versace and
he
blah,
made
blah,
promises.
blah.
He made promises.
He made himself seem like a guy that was well off, and he ended up not being, which I guess speaks to her staying with him still, but like...
Well, I think it's that sunk cost fallacy, right? Like, she'd already invested this much time and effort. She was here in the United States. She just has to stick it out through the wedding and 2 more years to adjust her status, and she's free and clear of him. So I think she's already, invested all this in here. She didn't want, go back to the Dominican Republic, find a new man. No, she's already done that. There was some stuff on that Visa Journey website that we found before. There was some stuff he had posted that made it clear that they intended to bring Annie's family over through chain migration.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah. I think if Redditors found and posted that. So,
I mean, to be honest, Sasha and
Emily planned to do that as well.
Planned to do that too, and she was very open when she said it, and no one batted an eye. So
right, and I don't fault Robert and Annie for that. What I'm saying is, I think with all of that, she had already invested so much time and effort into this relationship with Robert that when she found out this bait and switch about his finances, she was already so far into it that it wasn't worth it for her to pull out and to pull out.
Right.
And start to do this again with somebody else.
We won't talk about pulling out with Robert. Anyways,
You guys are a machine like Michael.
stop it.
Just saying.
I'm not a machine. You know, don't test somebody by taking them to the secondhand shop.
That smells
Right.
like a scripted thing anyways.
Yeah.
You think
That whole scene smelled scripted to me.
I don't think that's what you were smelling.
No, I mean...
I think that was the mothballs. That leads us into, they had Stephanie and her husband.
Porn granny.
Porn granny and her husband join the reunion. And the guests this time were kind of painful because this just became this back and forth banter about, like, I see the kids, no you don't.
Yeah. What I
We're
think the
rehashing the check. And
the big thing with this, right? So they continue their attacks on the relationship, and Stephanie defends her asking Annie about birth control and all the stuff. Even though there was an episode where she apologized for all that, she's like doubling down on it now in the tell-all. But the other thing that would have brought up was Robert talks about when he had a fire at his house and lost everything. And he said that his family in Atlanta, like, said, oh, we'll take you in. Like, come on up here, right? And that Stephanie didn't offer to take them in. And that was...
well, of course not, because he didn't respond the way she wanted to her accidental porn text that she sent.
when she accidentally sent her Kuko picture to him.
Yeah, so you can't come stay with me. Maybe that's where their set is. I don't know.
Yeah, so you know, Michael and Juliana called it, you know, unconscionable, like he can't wrap his head around that, you know, family helps family, blah, 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 blah. People have different opinions on this. So I don't know, you know, the expectations from family. Is it worth it to still be holding a grudge about it this many years later that you're going to withhold their grandson from them? Or is, you know what I mean?
I don't know. Who knows what the real reason is? Like, the whole excuse of if they have a kid of their own, it's going to take away from Bryson. It's like, how?
Yeah, that's a bullshit argument.
It might do him some good not being the only child. Like, I'm dealing with that shit now.
Like, that's every sibling ever.
Right?
Like,
Fuck.
this isn't a unique situation to have different mothers. Like, it's just siblings.
Speaking of different mothers, we can move on to Sasha and Emily.
So Sasha explains the timelines of his two prior marriages, which we have explained here on the broadcast as well.
But that wasn't true at first, remember? He was completely done with the second wife before he met.
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah. So
there was this weird gray area where he, like, you know.
Yeah, well, the first marriage, so what he says during the tell-all, which is what we have said previously on the show and on Instagram, was that the first wife, Masha, talks about how Sasha got the second wife pregnant and then came to her and said, I want a divorce. And that timeline we already debunked. We have the dates of the birth certificates and the divorce decrees, and there's years between them. We've already debunked that. So what he says on the show is what we've talked about. We know that. He did explain the gray area between the second wife and Emily, which he had known Emily, but they were, quote unquote, just friends. And she had asked him out, and he said no, and whatever. And it wasn't until he got a divorce that things escalated.
That was conveniently already on its way, right?
Right. And when I talked to the second wife said, you know, I asked her outright, did Sasha cheat on you with Emily? And she said that she didn't have any evidence to support that he did, but that she did know about Emily.
Well, that might have been emotionally cheating.
Maybe there was. Maybe he was sending dick pics over WhatsApp, or, you know.
I could see him just going like, I want to be with her, goes home, tells his wife it's over, and then runs back before she leaves that same day to say, okay, we can go out now.
And they go and bone that night and welcome baby David. Although, no, so Emily has said that they were together for years before they got pregnant with baby David, so.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think that's true.
Yeah. If you look, like, if we had looked
Their
back,
Instagram has a lot of space between.
Yeah. The years,
Yeah.
the dates on the Instagram pictures of them together, there's a lot before baby David comes into the picture. Betsy
So then they
joins.
talk about food again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Betsy.
Betsy
Talk
joins.
about food.
Betsy of the food.
Betsy food.
Criticize Sasha. Says that she's fat shaming Emily to lose weight, and Emily's like, I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. She talks about how hard it is. You know, she's a new mom. She wants to play. She works full time. She wants to play, see her kid when she gets home versus going to the gym. She's tired. David doesn't sleep through the night. Totally get all that. Been there, done that. I get that.
Right.
I also get, like, not liking what you see when you look in the mirror. Although I would say, Sasha claims he's helping her. Which, may or may not be true. Depends on the dynamic of their relationship, how that weight thing plays out,
Well, it's depending on what helping is, right?
Right.
But we also have to remember that I think, especially the timing of the tell-all, I forgot when he was born.
He was just over a year old because he was born in November, so.
Oh, so he was a whole year old, huh? Yeah.
Because he was born
Well,
November 2018, yeah.
Gotcha. So some time did pass by.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much more on them.
Yeah. And they stayed in Russia for a lot of that. Remember, they didn't come over until David was like 8 or 9 months old or something like that.
Right. That's right.
Okay. So they didn't talk about the scene where Sasha throws away all the food, which we know was fake, but they do talk about these food choices and the perception that he's pressuring Emily and all that. So that's what we get with them. Emily does kind of shade Sasha, like, where did you get your nutrition degree from? Google.
Dude.
That was funny.
She said Google? I was like, fuck.
He looks at her like, yeah, and?
I would like to think
What's wrong with the Google?
somebody who's a personal trainer also has to have nutrition knowledge, though, right?
Right. And I think actually today, before the second half of the tell-all, didn't he come out with something like, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something like
there's a lot of
his
stories.
response.
Everyone's getting combative over what's coming out of the tell-all. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Anna and Marcel. That was a loaded sigh.
At least they had a translator for him, so he could actually just talk without having to choke on words.
Participate, yeah.
He could actually participate. He seemed a little uncomfortable body language wise. Mm-hmm. But that just could be like the tell-all's awkward anyways, the way they have them sitting and
Right.
some are leaning on each other, and then it looked like he was like holding on to her for dear life.
Mm-hmm. He did.
But, they talked about him leaving the country and his return.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which she's like, I feel like it's fate that he was able to come back.
Well, they were cutting it pretty damn close, so fate had a hand in that.
I know, right?
Because there's probably a lot of steps and processes to just get him back once he left that plane. It's like, you shouldn't have left, damn it. They do address him wanting to have a baby, but she does say that she is unable to have any more.
Okay.
So if they do have one, it'd be through surrogate, which
apparently is not okay in Turkey.
Well, a lot of things he's doing right now is probably not okay in Turkey, but
And she's just like, well, we don't have to tell them.
exactly. Don't tell him you can't have kids. Just have one when they come visit.
Suddenly it's there. Like,
there'd be no questions.
didn't need any pregnancy pictures. Didn't need any journey of the whole pregnancy. Nope. Suddenly there's a baby.
Right?
Pull
They'd
stock
be
pictures
angry
off
if,
the
like,
internet of like ultrasounds. I don't know.
Who knows? There's a lot of ways to pretend nowadays.
But at least she's not a grandmother entertaining this idea, right? Like we get with Angela and Laura from The Other Way. I don't know. I don't think she was a grandmother, but she was
Right. But her reasons may be something else other than only having one egg left. Or speaking of babies,
Mike of the Aliens and Natalie
Natalie of the I Need a Baby.
Yeah.
Those two.
We didn't get a lot of them during part one.
No.
Yeah, just a lot
Purposely,
of...
I'm sure, is to get you to watch the second half.
Yeah, I mean, they saved all of this whole what did Mike do shit for the last 5 minutes of the second.
They've been hinting at that, and they make it seem like a cross between he cheated or he like choked her out before he left to the airport.
Right.
Which some yeah.
Don't go there.
Not going there on this podcast.
That's a whole different podcast, you guys. Maybe we'll talk about that on the Patreon this week. I don't know. Who knows
Right?
what we talk about on the Patreon. You guys, we have a Patreon. If you guys don't know about that, it's patreon.com/TheFraudcast, and we cover Married at First Sight and Life After Lockup and all kinds of other sort of... shall we say, not safe for work topics. I don't know why we end up this way, but we do. So if you're interested, you can join us for $3 a month. You get one episode a week, plus access to our Facebook group and a Discord server. All that for the low, low price of $3 a month. Okay, back to the show.
And that commercial break was brought to you by...
The Patreon. With Fraudcast.
Blake and Jasmin, who didn't say anything on this tell-all, so we can skip them. They were literally there for moral support.
Yeah, right. And Blake has blue contacts in.
Is that what that was?
Yes.
Like, I was too busy making Snapchat filter recordings. So
Yes, he had...
every time it looked over, it's like, is that the filter doing that?
No,
they're
he's got blue
very bright
contacts
blue.
Yeah.
My boyfriend in college wore very bright blue contacts like that too.
In college, not as an
Oh, I
adult.
thought-
Come on now.
Well,
Come on now,
Blake
Blake.
is kind of college-ish, right?
Yeah.
College age.
Basically.
That's still cool at that. It's still
Whatever. Okay, so they were just there. They just propped up.
They were just there on the couch.
The big focus of the first part of the tell-all was Tanya and Sinjin. So we had a lot of focus on Tanya and Sinjin. We started, I think, with Tanya's trip to Costa Rica during the 90-day visa period. Sean was like, this has never happened on 90 Day before where somebody left and whatever.
Oh my gosh, she was just so focused on the cherries being popped this time.
Yeah, there was a lot of those. But it made for good preview fodder, right? Like,
Of course.
You know.
This is a first. Oh my god.
Oh my God. Mike, what did you do? So Tanya said the trip had already been postponed for 2 years, and he understood why that she needed to go now and that they had made this decision together. And we have talked about this before, I think, in that particular school where she got this whatever, like you can do the same course online any time of the year.
Oh.
Yeah.
But she needed to see, that would be hard. I will say this in her defense. It would be really hard to take an herbal class without being able to touch
The
and
herb, yeah.
feel
Your salsa
and
instructor.
The salsa.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about herbs.
we're talking about
Maybe his name was Herb.
Oh
I mean, it could have been.
She's like, I just can't get over smelling herb and holding herb in my hand. And,
And St. John thinks she's talking about pot.
oh no! Did they? I looked away. Did they show her dancing with the salsa instructor?
Yes, dancing, if you want to call it that. That girl has the whitest white girl dance you've ever seen in your entire life.
She was just feeling the moon.
Sure.
Yeah. The soulmate thing too.
Oh God, can I? If I never hear the word soulmate again, it'll be too soon. Like, oh my God. Take us through.
Do you feel
take
like,
us through
do you
the
feel like
soulmate
you're my
conversation.
Yes.
Soulmate? Am I your soulmate?
Yes.
I think you're my soulmate too.
Yes. Like, okay.
But what
guess I
is
should
a
say about
soulmate?
this. Like, listen, I understand that if you've got a different definition of soulmate than someone else, that's fine. But you should at least know that in Sinjin's case, telling him, hey, you're not my soulmate, I'm actually hung up on my old ex-boyfriend, is not going to go over well.
But she is
Like-
so self-centered.
Well, no one's doubting that. I'm saying for a normal person, for those of you listening, don't say that shit to your partner. Even if you have different definitions, they aren't going to like that.
You think?
Sinjin was hurt, and she's like, "But why though?"
Go process.
I felt good after saying it.
I'll let
like
you
how
go
he looked at the
process
camera,
that.
He's like, right. Like,
I know.
like he's looking at the camera, like, did you just see this shit? Like, bro, I'm done.
Oh my god, too much.
The other interesting thing is when Sean was like, you got, just to Tanya, Shane, you got, like, skewered on social media for this.
The whole fucking cast got skewered on social media for something.
I know,
Like,
for
it
something.
wasn't like some anomaly.
I know. The fact that she
Tanya-
acknowledged that the social media world exists was kind of a big thing. They don't usually do that.
Right, they don't. With that breaking the fourth wall. They're
Yeah.
like, but there's an Instagram for this shit? Like,
What?
yeah. What? There's what?
Who's frauded by TLC? What's that?
I don't know. You follow her. 90 Day weirdos.
I don't. I checked. They don't follow me. The new, you
I
guys,
don't know.
90 Day Fiance, they actually have a Instagram handle now. Like, they're about 10 years late to the party, but welcome.
They have a whole, 6,000 fans right now. It's like, come on, guys.
At 90 Day Fiance is the official Instagram handle of 90 Day Fiance. So welcome to the party.
7,000 fans. And they are following.
Are they really? No, that's you that's following.
No, that's them.
Oh, they follow me. Okay.
Well, at least they'll know the newest tea on 90
They
Day.
know what's happening with
They'll
the
know it
cast.
first. Oh my god.
Hi, you guys. Hi, TLC. Welcome.
You can follow me too.
This is what's happening with your cast.
Oh gosh.
Oh, God. So
What
what else did we talk
else?
about? Oh, Tanya and Sinjin talking about Sinjin getting a job. And so what we learned more about Sinjin and sort of how he's a little immature and hasn't held a job since 2018. And he's got a little PTSD from his mind job, which is totally a thing. So I get that. But he apparently hasn't done any therapy. He hasn't had processed it, all this other stuff. He wants to be an opera singer, and we got a little taste of that.
Hold on. We noticed that when he was singing, it just said, what did the closed captioning say?
He was singing in foreign.
Yeah, it was great.
Like, I didn't even bother to find out what it was.
They
Like,
didn't
it's
bother.
just foreign.
It's just
Singing
foreign.
foreign.
Singing foreign. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that sucks because we know on this trip that Tom was also kind of soft recruiting the cast, so maybe he was going to jump off and say, look, I got a job. Hey.
Right. He signed up under Tom on the multi-level marketing Organo Gold coffee train.
Which I don't think that went anywhere because
Tom's not advertising it anymore.
So who knows if even TLC got the smackdown on that, but
Maybe.
they're like, only boom bod.
God, and Team Me.
And
Poop
Team
tea.
Me. They also talk about, Sinjin and Tanya also talking about timing of children. Mm-hmm. And I guess like the whole temperature on kids cooled off. Like she was like, we need to do it now. And he's like, I don't even know if I want him at all.
Right. And
Which his mindset's appropriate, saying that he doesn't have a job. So I mean,
yeah, and they just
not
got
thinking
married.
about kids.
And he's got the mentality of a 12-year-old. It's fine. He doesn't need to be having kids. He said his mind was cracked at the idea of something. I don't remember what. But like after watching this episode, I'm like, I feel like running water as a concept would crack his mind. Because he just seems like he's a little
Mind
bit...
blown.
Maybe like
Yeah.
he's like Marcel a little bit, just a little touched, and all of these people who are the Sinjin sympathizers, like knock it off. You can see. What? I'm gonna get bad reviews about that now. Sorry.
Probably.
Sorry,
I think
Sinjin sympathizers.
I think Sinjin's just laid back, and he came into a relationship with someone who I think Tanya's a procrastinator until it's time to go.
And then she's like all in.
And then she's like, we have to go, we have to go, we have to go. She probably lives off the stress, loves the adrenaline rush, and then crashing into the end, and we just made it, and that feels like success for her. Mm-hmm. And he's probably a slow burn, like, don't make plans that you're not going to, like, plan towards. I don't know.
It'll get
I
done
don't know.
eventually. Just do whatever you
It'll
want.
get done.
Do whatever you
Yeah.
want whenever you want it, and it'll be fine. Which, you know what? If that's the way you want to live your life, that's fine. You know, just
Right.
that's the way you want to live. I ain't going to tell anybody else how to live their life, right? I mean, Tanya does that enough for everybody, so she'll tell him how to live his life.
Well, I think that's the big thing is that the world needs to move at her speed. So if she doesn't want to do it, then we aren't going to do it. But if she wants to do it, everyone better be on board to do it. That's all it really comes down to. It's just very self-centered.
Yeah. Self-centered is probably the best word to describe her.
And so that ends the first tell-all episode, I think.
Yeah. For 2 hours, it was a whole lot of nothing, which I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to be so explosive. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's going to be a snooze fest. And I'd like to say I was right, but then that gets me bad reviews also. So, you know.
She'll know, man. She'll know. So we waited for the 2 hours to see Angela do her kiss my ass dance, and she doesn't do it until the second.
The second part is where the juice.
The second part, which is only 1 hour, so they crammed a whole lot of shit in 1 hour, which
Right.
I'm happy. They could have done all that in just 1 hour in the first place.
Right.
But, of course, they know how to. Should we start with Angela?
Yeah, because that's how how it started. It opened.
That
with
is
her.
how, right? So they have them continue to talk about their stuff. They bring on her favorite friends of Michael,
The goofballs.
the goofballs, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and they
That's what
basically
Huey, Dewey, and Louie, as a side note, that's what the gays call Anna's moles. 3 moles on her face. They call
Oh
them.
no! Really? No. I was thinking DuckTales, guys. Like,
They call her moles Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
that's so mean.
And then they do 90-day gay theater with them as they're acting as the moles. Yeah. It's rough.
It's rough. But I guess they trigger her. A lot of things trigger her, but they triggered her.
Well, they're
To-
sitting there poking her. Like
They were probably told to. They're like, dude, call her trashy again. Call her trashy again.
Yeah, so they
And
call
then
her trashy, and she's like, I'm the classiest, trashiest bitch you'll ever meet. And they're like, I before we get into that, I want to address this. So they're talking about Michael's visa denial, right? And she goes on about this 20-minute thing. The interview was only 20 minutes, and maybe Michael answered things wrong and stuff like that. And I just want to go back to what Agency has said about this repeatedly, that 20 minutes is a really long interview. Like, most interviews were a lot shorter than that, so they actually had a really long time. And that the person, the consular officer, the visa officer, was probably already decided that these, based on their
Right.
file, that this was a fraudulent relationship. So he knew what questions he was going to ask, and whatever.
And he probably had to ask more and in depth. So 20 minutes, it's the opposite of a job interview. Like, the longer these things go, you should probably actually start worrying after it hits the 10-minute mark. Like, oh shit, he's asking 5 questions more. Oh no. But yeah, she was very. I think her misconception of how long the process should have taken is just not accurate.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have known either.
No, I
probably
didn't
would have
know
thought
until
it was a 3-hour or like a whole day type thing where you bring in a whole bunch of people, blah, blah, blah. But
I was really surprised when Agency told us that, and if you go back and listen to that episode where we talk about it and he explains the process, I'm like, so they just come up to the window and that's it? You decide on that? And like, you got the file that morning? Like, and like,
Right.
if you're lucky, I was like, damn, all the work that people put into these things, and to have it adjudicated so summarily seems lopsided, I guess. But I guess
Right.
it is what it is, right?
that's how it goes.
Yeah. So the goofballs are there and they're antagonizing poor Angie, and Angie says. She gets up and she's like, you can kiss this white trash ass, whatever. And then she's like, if you don't cut them off, I'm going to walk out of here, and Michael's going to walk out too. And Michael starts taking his microphone off. Like,
Yeah, okay, sure.
who does Angela think she is that she can just make these demands? You're going to cut this shit off, or I'm going to walk out. Like, who cares? Like, should TLC care?
She's a 90-day alumni.
So whatever she says goes. She gets to dictate everything.
After her last performance, she's still there.
That's true. The last tell-all, she physically assaulted someone. So
exactly. So like, I don't know. Just saying.
all right. But there was a lot with Angie and Mike. So she was very sweet about, I wasn't always nice and I was, this and that, but, we worked through it. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful that he's still with me, and those
Right.
goofballs can go kiss my ass. And, Michael got all pissed off about it. They showed his scenes of him getting pissed off at the goofballs and for not respecting Angie. And if he's frauding us with all of this, with this relationship, he's gone all in. He's gone balls
He's
deep.
really, really good, right? And the emotion that they both share seems genuine, which is why it's hard to be like it's fake. At this point, it's
he's gone
just
balls in.
Literally.
38 times.
Did I beat you to it?
It's too easy.
Fist bump. Yeah. You'll have to pick the next couple you want to talk about.
Oh, Jesus.
I was dealing with a 6-year-old tantrum over not wanting to go to bed, even though being blatantly tired. So
What about, we haven't heard much from Mr. Draven. What do you have to say?
what couple do you? Which couple?
Are we on part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on part 2. That was one today.
Can we talk about what Mike did?
Oh my God, you're so...
Okay, Blake and Jasmin first. Let's do
Okay.
Blake and Jasmin first.
He's excited about what Mike did.
This is quick and easy, like your mom.
Not my mom.
Yeah, like your mom.
She's gonna message you, man.
Mama Kawa.
Mama Kawa.
The Blake and Jasmin scene, they brought in Everett and Thirsty Girl, whatever the hell her name is, Rita.
She comes off as so jealous.
And about like how Jasmine doesn't like them and that she should try to reach out. And the thing about this is we know this whole thing is completely fake and made up. We know this, right? Like Everett has come out months ago and said that this is bullshit and he loves Jasmine. Jasmine has come out and said it's bullshit. She loves them. They all get along. Like them trying to perpetuate this, like doubling down on this lie of the script that they've had for them. It's just like,
Right.
I'm watching it and I'm like, I just can't even. I can't even with this. Like, I'm watching
Well,
it.
I mean, it's so sad because even if you go by the script, like the guy going, I just want Jasmine to like us. I'm like, sometimes people don't fucking like you.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
And
And
if she-
then he's like, well, Lime Marita over here is always front and center of your show, and she freaking loves you. Why aren't you picking her? Why'd you go to Finland, man?
Yeah,
And they're
that's basically what they were saying.
I mean, she's a great friend to you, Blake. And he's just like,
And
like she's in friend zone and she's suffering.
God. And the thing is, if Jasmine's Finnish, is what she said, and she's also kind of an introvert. Like, why do people, as an extrovert, I don't go out and try to recruit introverts to become extroverts. Like, it's not like I'm on this mission.
Come join the Church of Joy. Speak outwardly about your feelings here.
Right?
We're both introverts, so when people start like wanting to talk to us, we like back up. We're like, no.
It's like, I'm sure you're nice, but could you effing not?
Right? Like, I'm not out there, evangelizing being an extrovert. And that's what it was that they were trying to do to her. You
need
have to
come
be front and
parties
center.
and
And you got to
be friends, and you should be up front with the glow sticks yelling out his name. And I'm like, she probably just wants to enjoy the show over some seltzer water and call it a day.
Right.
Or even the whole... She gets off the plane, she's jet lagged, and like, well, she just wanted to sleep. What's up with that? I'm like, she's jet lagged. Have you never left the country?
Right? She wants to like wash the plane right off of her and go the fuck to sleep.
Like, I thought that's what everyone knew, is that you go to a different country and the first day is wasted. You
Right.
just sleep.
Right.
readjust, then you're good to go. And they're like, come on, let's go party. Let's go to the pool. Let's hang out and party. I'm like, are you serious?
Right? I don't want to do that, and I live here. I'm not jet lagged, and I don't want to do that. So I'm with her.
But it's fake. The whole thing was fake. We know this. So, it's just a double. And I'm just like, come on, TLC, do better. Really? You're better than this.
This whole season is TLC, please do better.
Yeah. Okay, so now we can move on to what Mike did.
What Mike did. Okay, so I'll walk you through, and then I'll let him say what Mike did.
Okay. I caught part of it before my app cut out, so.
So because it was like basically pulling teeth from Natalie. She's like, he knows what he did, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to talk about it now. He knows what he did. And it's like, oh my fucking goodness, just say it.
Well, she was beating around the bush the whole time because she, everyone's like, do you love him? Do you love him? Can't you just say that you love him? And if she doesn't love him, she made that clear. She said that, but it also took her a while to say that she did love him, but then something happened and now she doesn't love him anymore. And it was actually Tanya that summed that up.
Yeah, she's just making excuses because first it started with, it's like the religion thing. I can't trust someone who believes in aliens.
No, she says, I can't trust somebody who doesn't believe in God. That's different.
She can't trust someone who believes in aliens.
That's not what she said.
I know, but that's what I read.
But that's not what she said. It's different.
But it's like, it's just an excuse because she knew this before he flew over there to propose to her.
Yeah. And she even said that she kept hoping that one day his conversation about it was going to change. And
yeah,
no.
And it doesn't. Even Sasha weighed in on that about not changing people. Because, so finally they get to asking her what he did, and she goes through a very long synopsis, and I'll let you say, what did Mike do?
Fucking nothing.
Okay, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
That's what the problem was, right?
The problem is that he went to a close friend's wedding, or
as best man to his female friend.
Yeah, that he's been friends with for a long time, and he ends up going over to her place, and they're supposed to hang out with her future husband included, and the future husband ends up not being there. And so
he's probably
still
drunk at his buddy's house.
Right. And he still went through and spent the night with his friend, who is a female.
He slept on the couch.
He slept on the couch, but he still was in the same walls that she was in without the husband.
Under the same roof.
Correct.
And that's what changed Natalie from loving him.
It was the situation, or the optics of the situation, of he was alone with another woman.
And that's how she can't trust him anymore.
And that's how she can't trust him.
And why would she move to America to a man who would do that to her? I don't know. You guys weigh in.
Time with your friends.
What do you think?
So I was confused at first because I thought that the guy was the longtime friend and that this was just the new wife.
Yeah.
And he just spent the night over at the new wife's house with his friend not there. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of sketchy. And then it's like, oh, no, actually, the girl is the friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so why is that a problem?
You shouldn't have girlfriends.
Because she has a vagina.
If he wanted to sleep with her, he apparently could have done it the last 20 years of his life. I'm sorry. You can think the optic is a little weird.
I wouldn't have said shit. I wouldn't have said where I was if I was planning on banging the wife or the future wife.
The thing is that he wouldn't have said anything.
And so that's where
because he saw it as so
innocuous,
innocent, and non-important that he's like, oh yeah, I was at my friend's house and it happens to be so and so was a girl,
and instead of his aunt's house where he was originally going to sleep, right?
And so she changes it around to, what if I was staying in a place with just a guy and blah blah blah, and he had this face like, if you're not doing anything, I don't care. Like his level of comfort with that situation is different than hers, and I think that's where the problem was. Like, she's kind of like that. She's probably like you don't need to have female friends that you spend time with alone.
Yeah.
And that opinion changes. Like, my guy goes to lunch with women that he works with, and I'm not flipping out over it.
Well, he's probably, of course, he's having sex with them at the Applebee's. You know this, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah. What are you going to enjoy there? The sugary-ass food?
Hell no.
The strippers that are at
The strippers from
the Applebee's strippers.
You guys, that's from I'm sorry, it's from our Patreon. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so here's the thing with this, like the fraudcast angle on this is that ever since the previews for the tell-all started, my DMs have been flooded with, what did Mike do? I've been getting texts. I've been getting all, it's blown up. Everyone's like, what the fuck did Mike do? And all my sources confirm the same thing. I'm like, did he step out on her when they were on a break? Like, what happened? And all my sources were like, no, there was no other girl. We think it's just something that he said to her, and she's legit crazy. So, she probably just took it the wrong way. So going into the tell-all, that's what I suspected. It was something that he said,
right,
and that she took differently. And here, and as it was something that happened, and that she took wrong.
Right. And so this is after the tell-all that this happens. But, of course, at the end of it, Mike is the bad guy. Even other cast members seem to have coded him as the bad guy, and they feel sympathy for Natalie.
I think they just cut out a lot of it. Because, you even had Robert going, yeah, I'm flip-flopping, and they were they all were on her side going, oh, my God, what did Mike do? Expecting something like he cheated on her, or what I was seeing on social media was there was rumors that he hit her. Which I was like, where did those come from?
Well, and she posts this video today that says Survivor, and so it's just terrible.
Jesus.
But for specifically what I have here is that after filming of the tell-all, Mike told the entire cast that Natalie wasn't a Ferrari.
Right.
And so somehow this gets back to her, probably a cast member telling her.
Right.
Because she's obviously not there. And that sparks her whole
social media
online feud of him talking about Ferrari and I'm not a Ferrari, which ends with him saying, yes, you're a Ferrari. And we know she accepted that because she's here.
Yes.
So
she is here, in case you don't know that yet. She is here in the United States in Squim with Mike of the Aliens and Uncle Bo and the Aliens. They're all here, and she's here on a K-1 visa. We're just waiting for their marriage certificate to turn up. So,
do you think she's having fun? Do you think she's happy?
No. Because I have a source that said she's not. So.
Oh, man. I can't wait to see what she's not happy about, though.
Yeah, but they're filming, so we're going to see them on maybe a Happily Ever After or maybe another 90-day. Because what we saw with them was kind of like before the 90 days.
Yeah, they're very displaced.
Yeah, they should have been on before the 90 days, but, whatever. It is what it is. Who knows?
Well, yeah.
They just film them and then they slap a label on them, whatever. Make it fit.
They need to add it, and they also want to have a first, right? This is a first in 90 days.
How many firsts did Sean talk about during the tell-all? She talked about the first of the conversation.
First religion conversation, first person leaving during the 90 days, first person being over on the... I don't know.
First person who left and came back during the 90-day period, left the country.
Right.
So, yeah.
First time the ex-wife and the current wife are like besties on the couch.
Mm-hmm. These are all the sound bites that, TLC uses to make the tell-all sound much more explosive than it actually is. And you guys, you guys be the judge. Weigh in on this. Let us know what you think. Was the tell-all as explosive as you thought, or was it the snooze fest therapy session that I told you it was going to be?
Therapy session. Kumbaya. There were some marshmallows.
They sat around a campfire.
Angela was the fire.
So, thoughts on the season, tell-all, anything? Any final thoughts? Would be like a Jerry Springer. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts? No. I'm happy it's over. Are you happy it's over?
I think it's just the season that should be titled "Nothing Fucking Happens."
And of course, Hanekawa was fucking laughing at it.
I know.
I was just like, this is kind of boring.
I know, because I really ramped you on with before the 90 days.
I think
that was exciting for a lot of different reasons, but then it drops us off to this, and we're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
And I thought maybe it was because I didn't know anybody on this season, but no, it truly was a boring season.
Yeah, well, it came after 2 seasons because we had The Other Way and Before the 90 Days occurring at the same time, and there was a lot of crap, like shit. I mean, we had Paul on one of those casts, and he's just a fucking shit show to watch. And we had Laura on one, and we had a lot of shit happening on both of those shows simultaneously.
Right.
So coming from that to this, of course, this is going to seem like a snooze fest.
But hopefully, because we have had a preview into the next season, and I don't mean to segue you that fast, but
Your transitions are excellent.
I know, my God. So we have a new season of Before the 90 Days coming up in a couple weeks.
The 23rd.
1 week
1 week.
from yesterday.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They don't even
really
give us a
did.
1 week break.
They don't give you a break, man. They're like going on the next. So we have Before the 90 Days, and we have new cast except for Darcy and Tom, which I don't know how the hell they squish into that.
I don't know. They found a way to put him on Before the 90. I have no idea.
I don't even know. But do we want to talk about the new cast?
Yeah.
It'll be quick, right? Everyone knows we have Darcy and Tom. We don't know what their shtick is going to be, but they're back.
We know that the storyline centers around them not being together. And the preview we see of them confirms that.
Right. So it's probably going to be like a Don't Dingle Darcy special or something.
Something.
This upcoming season is extra special because we have our first same-sex couple.
Woohoo! That's Erica and Stephanie.
Yes, Erica and Stephanie. Stephanie's from New York, and Erica is from Australia. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, interesting stuff about them.
I think the big things with them is Stephanie was already a social media influencer. She's a big YouTuber, and Erica was one of her fans. And then she excuse me. And she was one of her fans, and she reached out, and then they became they fell in love, and then the storyline seems to be built around Stephanie having kept both Erica and her sexual orientation a secret from her relatives, which may be what leads to some of the speculation that I've gotten that that this whole relationship is just faked for the purposes of the show. And that's the speculation I've gotten. I have not had anything to debunk that at this point. So it may be just that she didn't tell.
Stephanie is not only on YouTube, she also has a private Patreon that I don't even know how to categorize it. It's more...
It's like softcore porn.
Risque material. So she does a lot of pictures in lingerie. She does more sex topics, chats, and stuff like that. And if you scroll back even a year or a couple of years ago, she does have videos that talk about her bi-curiosity and bisexual experiences.
Okay, so there we go.
I wouldn't say she was just all of a sudden bi because TLC called her, but anything else around that is, who knows?
So there we go, you guys. So for those of you guys who have said that because she wasn't with women before, then therefore her relationship with Erica must be made up for the show, I think that sort of debunks that. So if she's been bi-curious for years, and just because she didn't tell people as overtly.
Not a lot of people tell their parents, hey, I'm bi-curious.
Just FYI.
By the way, Mom, love chicks. I mean, she has a lot of other stuff.
I want to feel some chicks' boobs. Just FYI, in case you cared.
Who doesn't, though, right? They're so soft. Next, we have...
I can't disagree.
Next, we have... this is Big Ed, this is Big Ed. So Ed and his girlfriend, Rosemary. Mm-hmm. I believe she's from the Thailand?
Philippines.
Yeah.
Philippines. I was going to say Philippines, and I was going to... Gotcha.
Yeah.
So he's a lot of things. He's a photographer. He's does architecture work. He's a chef on Twitch. He is so. If a theme of all these people here, except for a couple, is they already have like an internet following or some kind of social media presence. Seems to be the theme.
For those who don't know, Twitch is like an online social media platform generally used for like gaming, streaming games. Like if you're playing a video game, you can other people can watch you play the video game and other things like that.
Right.
That's where my knowledge of it is from.
It has branched out, so
Clearly.
you can almost have any kind of live show. They have different categories from just talking to ASMR to video gaming to cooking, which is where Ed fits in. He gets on there and he cooks random things and then talks, and I think he does video games too, but I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. And I don't know much about Rosemary.
No, they haven't.
Seems to just
even in the first hour, we didn't get much about her. It was really all about him,
right,
and his relationship with his daughter. That is sort of rift. There's a rift in it now because of his relationship with Rosemary, who's like super young.
Age.
Yeah, same age as the daughter. Which
that's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah, this is not an uncommon theme.
No one's comfortable in like their sister being their dad's girlfriend, or like someone who could be their sister being their dad's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Our next one, so we can move to. I'm pretty sure her name is Lisa.
Yeah.
And
Angie 2.0.
Angie 2.0. This is exactly the same scenario as Angela and Michael. New people.
Yeah.
So she is from, I don't know, Pennsylvania, I think, and he's from Nigeria. He's from a different area in Nigeria.
And,
people may think that he knows Michael, but he doesn't. Different area. Nigeria is pretty big, guys. And then he goes by Soulja Boy, not Soulja Boy, like the cuckoo one that tried to make his own gaming console.
SOJABOY.
Sorry.
And I think God, I forgot what she said his real name was. Usman. Thank you. So that I mean, they're basically Angela and Michael.
And she is also a hospice nurse, which is what Angela is. So
right.
She's the 52-year-old white woman she's from the north, so she's from Pennsylvania versus being from the south. So she's a different, because she's like a different kind of trash than.
But they argue the same way. Like her
same.
first thing is, I don't like your friends. I don't like the chicks putting smiley faces on your posts.
They
like,
shouldn't
control that.
Yeah,
like he could control
female
that.
fans put hearts on his social media, like after he posts a video, and she's like, "Screenshot, send it to him. Why are they doing this? You need to get rid of them. You need to block them." So that's what we're in for with her. She seems lovely.
Yeah, and I mean, she's all taken because he's a musician in Nigeria, and like, I don't know, he had maybe 2,000 followers at the time.
Yeah, like I don't know how big he is. So
I've tried to like Google every award that he's been winning, and it seems like it's super
Nigeria centric.
What's very extremely, and even like city or that area central kind of award, which whatever, that's fine. He's popular where he is, and that's probably what matters to him. Who do we have next? Ash.
Oh God, Ash and Avery.
This is going to be a treat.
I'm looking forward to this because Ash is a relationship coach from Australia, and Avery is from Seattle, Washington, and she is like she does healthy eating, like recipes, and she's also big into cannabis, like infused.
She adds herbs to her salad.
Yes. And
she does infusions, which a lot of people. If she's in Seattle, then that's probably totally the norm.
Totally the norm, yeah. So
a weed salad.
So they meet over Instagram or whatever, and she's all worried because he's this relationship coach, and he talks to his clients at all hours of the night. She's broken up with him like 3 times in the 9 months they've been together. So
he's a relationship coach.
Yeah. What's he coaching? What's he doing? What kind of services do you think Ash offers?
Well, sometimes it's hard to apply your own like job practices in your own relationship. Like, you know, you can fix everyone else's problems, but
not your
yours.
own, right? So it's
Yeah,
like why
they're-
therapists need therapists and stuff.
Right. No, sometimes they do. Sometimes relationship coaches need relationship coaches. Their whole shtick, though, is that she seems to have issues with his level of dedication to his job.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, how hands-on he is with his clients at all hours of the night. This is apparently then you need relationship coaching at 3 a.m.
Sometimes you do, though. Like,
When you're-
have you ever been in a situation where you need to know if you need to make the move or not?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would have been, nice. 3 a.m., maybe?
I've got to go. Just hold on a minute, sweetheart. Let me go text my relationship coach and see if I can do this. What? Like, no.
And he responds with, "You're drunk, put the phone down."
Right. Wasn't there a Black Mirror episode about that?
Maybe?
What's
Yeah,
that?
the guy had like the relationship coach in his ear, and like the guy ended up murdering somebody, and he was trapped in the house with the snow globe. Okay, anyways,
Escalated.
Well, then, we actually talked about Black Mirror episodes on one of my Frauded Night Lives, like a couple weeks
people
ago.
love that
It's
show. I mean, I
awesome.
love it too, but
It's an awesome
amazing.
show. I mean, we're living in a giant episode of Black Mirror, but
right? All the criminal stories. And speaking of criminals, our next lovely couple,
yeah. Jeffrey and Varya.
Varya. Yes, she is from Russia. He is from.
Knoxville, Tennessee. He's a good
There
old
you go.
country boy.
He's very hands-on.
He likes to get his hands dirty.
He likes to be outside.
Anything
His
outside.
whole intro of him like shirtless, just chopping the wood. I'm like,
Good God. Yeah.
this is too much. So besides him being outdoorsy, he seems to also be an actor
Oh.
in murder mystery shows,
Oh.
like your favorite,
Snapped.
maybe Snapped. The kind of shows like that
Right.
all have production agencies in that area. So
Right.
that I think that's how he gets casted in them. But yeah, if you
Murder,
look at his
murder,
Instagram,
Yeah.
his Instagram, scroll down a few beats and you'll see him covered in blood. So
The thing that's interesting about Jeffrey, he's controversial cast member, and honestly, I personally am surprised that TLC still cast him, because we've talked about him on an earlier episode when their preview first came out, and since then the list of alleged crimes that he's being accused of have grown. There's a lot of domestic violence related, kidnapping, physical violence towards ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, some of which was happening like as recently as this past summer, which is right around filming time. So TLC knows about it. So a lot of people are a little shocked that TLC still went with him on the show, because his stuff isn't resolved at this point, right? Like, it's still all in the court process.
it's still going, and I mean,
So I guess
the
it's all
optics of-
alleged at this point, where he's not been convicted.
Right. Which could be why TLC is like, look, we're not going to jump on anything until there's actual. But they've already aired him, so in any case of something actually happening where he is
If he's found guilty
charged
of
or
anything,
found
yeah.
guilty, then I don't know if people care enough for it to make TLC look bad for having him casted, or if the sensation's going to bring them more people. I don't know.
Right.
We're in a different world now where we think, oh, shame on them for having him on there, when people are probably going to watch it just be like, oh God, that's the guy who went to jail. And
That's the guy who was charged with aggravated
Yeah.
kidnapping and domestic assault and vandalism.
exactly. But well, in the meantime, if that, all that's true and he gets, found guilty for it, you're thinking about, his victims that now see him on TV, which they may not be watching the show.
No,
like
but what
my
about
crazy
other
self,
victims?
but-
Other victims, like, who have been victims of domestic assault, of similar crimes, right? Like, they have to watch this too and know that this guy did this. Like, there's a lot of controversy with this.
Right.
If you want to know all of the details about the alleged crimes that he's dealing with and the timelines for when they allegedly happened, when they were charged, he's got all this stuff going on with multiple ex-wives and his kids and stuff. You can go to Starcasm and
Yes.
they have it all detailed. I personally have not been keeping up on all the details because she does it. So
Right. And it's very comprehensive.
Yeah.
I try to stay, of course, people know my personality. I try to be fair until, don't discredit this person. Don't just not believe that person. But I don't know. It just.
right, and we're big on what does the evidence show us? Here at the
Exactly.
Fraudcast, right? It's what does the evidence show, and what we focus on fraud on the show, right? So, to a large extent, some of what he's been charged with doesn't impact the show because there's a lot of people who, like Paul with his background in arson, does that
Right.
affect him on the show? Like, it doesn't implicate fraud necessarily or implicate what they're showing on the show. Some of his charges are like that, but then some of the charges are like this domestic assault and things like that. And you're putting him on a dating show that there's kind of a little, like an ick factor to that. So,
Right.
it's
Right. Exactly.
it's kind of a mess,
I don't know, the girl, I was going to say his girlfriend, maybe fiance. She's kind of spicy herself, so maybe.
Yeah, you had an interaction with her.
I just said hi, which I won't do anymore.
Apparently, you were so...
Apparently, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah,
But, okay.
Hanekawa said hi to her on DMs and was met with a very unkind response. So
That's all right.
we'll have to see how that plays out.
Not everyone has to like me, and I'm
Nope.
okay with that.
Nope.
Blake's friends can take lessons from that.
It's okay if people don't like you. There's like awards for that, Someone didn't like me, and the world was okay. I was okay.
Everything is fine. We have two more couples. So these are the couples that one is new, and one, I don't even know if he has an Instagram. From his story, he's probably not very internet savvy.
Yeah.
But I forgot his name already.
Oh God. I want to call him like Frank or Larry, but I don't think that's really his name.
I almost think it's David and Lana.
Oh.
I don't know. Lana is from Ukraine, not the Ukraine.
Right.
Ukraine.
I was schooled on that. I will not call it the Ukraine. I'm sorry. It was educated. It's Ukraine.
Unfortunately, sometimes how we say things in English mess up like how things mean somewhere else.
Yeah,
so.
and that apparently is kind of offensive.
It's very incorrect.
So I apologize. I've since been schooled. It's Ukraine.
While you search
David
him,
and Lana, yeah, you're right.
It is David. Okay,
He's
so
60. He's 60 and Lana
he's
is
60.
27.
Yes, and he has not seen her. Like, they haven't even done web chat. It's one of these Caesar situations. Except for Caesar got a little bit more than he did, I think.
He looks every bit 60, and he looks like he's stuck in the 70s. He's got that, like, feathered hair. Like, he hasn't changed his hairstyle since 1972.
No, he's just very simple.
I don't know. I don't know
And
anything about him.
and
They haven't shown
she's-
much about him yet.
They haven't, and she's very va-va-voom.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out. Other than that, they don't seem to exist on social media, but as we know, Maria showed up like the last freaking minute, and she's still not really on social media. So
Not much. She's a little bit. I mean, she's very active on the website that Caesar found her on. But
well, yeah, you got to pay bills, damn
it. I need her hustle.
Our last lovely couple is Yolanda and they say the catfish, but his name is Williams in the show.
Yes.
Now, this is a fun one.
So this is fun because Hanekawa found... So okay, the background story on them is she's 51. She lives in Las Vegas. She lost her husband. She raised her 6 kids by herself, and now she's doing the let me get back into the dating world. Her kids are all grown. All of this
Right.
stuff.
She lost a lot of weight, so she's built that confidence, and she's
ready to get out there.
Ready to get out there.
And she met this guy online. His name is Williams, and he's all he's ever sent her are pictures and text messages with the rose emojis, and she gets very excited about the emojis.
A lot of emojis.
That shows that he loves her. And he
Hear
has
that?
never
If I
videoed.
had known all those years, it would have been so much easier.
Is that how you would have gotten me? Just
Just
emojis?
send like 6,000 emojis, copy paste for years at an end.
That's what he
Apparently it
does.
works.
We'll have to tell that story one day, but yeah, that's a joke. It took years. So I watched this show, and this is where my mind went on it. They started showing pictures, and she started talking about how he's Williams from UK, blah, 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 blah. And my first thought was, this guy looks fucking familiar. Why does he look familiar? Because if anyone follows at Ty Likes This, he posts a whole bunch of, pictures of, I'll say, eye candy guys. And one of the people that he follows has pictures like that. Oh, so anyways, I chose the screenshot, and then I, reverse Google imaged it, and a whole, page of stock photos came up of this Williams guy. Right? And so I'm
the name of the stock photo is hilarious because it's like muscular guy against
hunky guy in white t-shirt sitting on back of stairs. Cityscape with like, stern look on his face and nipples showing. It's like, what?
Oddly specific title for a stock photo, but okay.
When you're looking for stock photos, that's what you want. I want a hunky guy who's sitting on stairs looking aimlessly into the cityscape, wishing he met Yolanda sooner. Not the case, because I went back to who the stock photo owner was. So, there's someone who always sells these stock photos, and he has a web Facebook that then the person that he took the photo of was tagged in, and his name is actually like Michele Di Lucio, and he lives in Italy. So there's the big thing of like, this might come out in the show.
We don't know what her storyline's going to be, right?
Yeah. We don't know what her storyline is yet. I know that it is of TLC's MO to probably not actually contact a person, but to go to the photographer and buy rights to a photo. Once they do that, right, they can use it on the show.
Right.
So is this a materialized storyline to like then have a catfish that maybe lives down the street from her? Like, is this a catfish episode?
Well, you are fielding offers from Max and Neve on Catfish right now
I know.
on MTV. I'm going to lose her to MTV.
There needs to be a crossover event.
Oh, that would be great.
Help Yolanda find her man.
Yes.
Because he's not in England.
When I posted your results from all that searching, I did tag Neve, but,
Oh, you did? That's amazing. You'd be like, what is this craziness?
There's been a lot of joking about, because this guy's from the UK, is it Tom, right? And no, it's not Tom. And then I saw somebody posted a picture of like her 6 kids who are all grown, and one of the kids, his head is down on looking into his phone, and they're like, "There's the catfish right there." Like,
wouldn't that be some shit though?
If they're like,
we just wanted to see mom happy,
we just wanted to make her feel good.
We didn't think she was actually gonna like want to go to England and find him. Oh my god!
Well, and the story is she's gonna go to England, and her daughter's coming with her.
Yeah.
So I don't know what TLC plans to do with the storyline. Like, they have to know that this guy is catfish, right? Like, we found him. You found him in under an hour.
He's obviously a catfish already, because this guy is in Italy, and if you follow his social media, Yolanda's not there.
Yeah, it's not the guy that's texting her. Whoever's texting her is not the guy in the pictures, as Max and
they're using very old photos of him. Like, he has more recent photos. He looks a little bit different. So, I mean, that almost means nothing in the freaking catfish world. But, which photos were accessible? Don't use stock photos if you're going to catfish somebody.
Yeah.
Use, like, photos of your friend.
We've seen that. I've watched
a private
catfish
account.
marathons where people do some crazy-ass shit with that. So... given all the storylines that I've seen on the TV show Catfish, like, this could be anything. And who knows what TLC is going to do with it, because we've had Catfish before. We had the Smith Catfish, but he outed himself, and then Jenny fell in love with the Smith. Anyway, so that's it. That's what we've got for the upcoming season airing next week, you guys. I'm not sure what more is going to come out between now and then. We have seen the first hour. If you have access to the TLC app, it's out there. You can watch the first hour and get a glimpse into these couples. They don't show all of them, though. Just a few.
Just a few. Yeah, I think we're still missing... Oh, did they not show all of them? We didn't get to.
We didn't get
David,
Darcy
did
and
we?
Tom. We didn't get Larry, David, whatever his name is. I can't.
Larry. David,
What's his name?
Cable guy? David.
David and Lana. Oh, we didn't get Erica and Stephanie. I guess they're waiting for the big reveal on that.
There was a very small blip on that, I think.
Yeah, like coming up on this season or whatever they're doing. So
right, which is usually their thing. Not all the couples come on episode 1. A lot of them drop in on episode 3 and 4, and that's just how it goes.
Like the last season when Blake and Jasmin didn't show up till episode 4, and he was all pissed. For those of you guys who didn't know.
I think TLC has like a set number of episodes that they're going to have them on.
Yeah, because they pay them per episode. Yeah,
right. So there's going to be like the 2 that start off with are going to not be really shown in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, however.
That's just how it goes. Yeah.
So yeah.
You know.
I think the only social media roundup, I don't even know if it's worthy of the soundbite, but we found Anfisa of season 4, Anfisa of Jorge, bring me my red bag with my makeup. She stepped out recently on social media with her new boo, Leo, on Valentine's Day.
Because people really thought she was still with what's his name?
George, Jorge, whatever.
She wasn't waiting for that.
Who's in prison right now, set to be released later this year. So she...
How's that going to go?
So she stepped out on social media publicly with this guy. It wasn't just the picture of the two of them. There was conversation, and she had some stories and stuff. It's all confirmed that they're an item.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. You know, the only thing we know about him is he used to manage a strip club in L.A. and Anaheim. Other than that, I don't know what he's doing now. So, but maybe we'll see. If those of you guys who always ask me about Anfisa, there we go. I think that's the only thing from social media. Yeah,
that is it. All the social media was based on the tell-all. So,
what did Mike do?
What did Mike do?
And what did Mike do?
Absolutely fucking nothing.
There you go.
He was fucking nothing.
He was not fucking anything.
Natalie thought he was.
Any shout outs?
I want to say shout out to Robert because he put something funny on Instagram.
Robert of Robert and Annie?
Yep.
Okay.
He posted in his stories, "You can call me Fertile Myrtle, but your daughter is Houdini."
That's funny.
And I know it's aimed towards Porn Granny.
Because Porn Granny called him Fertile Myrtle, and Bryson's mom, Porn Granny's daughter, has disappeared. Last time she got out of jail, and then she disappeared, and no one's heard from her, so nobody knows where she is. So. I like it.
Anyways.
I like it.
That's funny.
Good job.
That's my shout out.
Good job. I am Frauded by TLC. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Frauded by TLC. You can find us on Facebook at The Fraudcasters. Currently, our website is still talkersoffraud.com, but do we have an update?
We're working on that.
Do we have an update on the new website?
It's a work in progress.
Yes.
I'd say it's about half done. So if you go there, it's going to look a little unfinished, but it's coming along.
But it's not live yet, right?
It's not live, and we'll probably have to talk offline on that.
Okay.
I'll have to talk offline about the online.
Okay. See, I don't know what they're doing. The two of them are designing this thing, and they just give me cryptic questions that I answer. And, you know,
it was more like what did I compare it to? National Treasure. We were just trying to get into the thing in the first place. Because it's like, oh, there's our first clue. And you get there, and it's like, oh, no, there's our other clue. And it's like, actually, it was in your bedroom the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
So now we're in. We can start, messing around with that.
It's a mess. So. It's a mess. So they're burning it down, and they're building a new site, but then we have to transfer the RSS feed. So it's kind of a mess, so they can't burn it completely down. But they haven't told me anything what they're doing. I get cryptic questions and little bits of here and there, so I'm very excited. I'm probably going to be just as surprised as you guys by what they design and develop. So I am very excited about this. He's already redone some of the graphics. Some of you guys will notice some of the graphics have been redone a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it's a little teaser on that, but that means that all of my current swag and merch that I have is going to be obsolete, so get it while you can. I have a couple more pop sockets left. If you want the swag bag, that's $30, which includes priority shipping. It's a link in my bio. You can PayPal me at fraudedbytlc@gmail.com, and just put your address and I will get it in the mail for you. I want to get these things out of my house. It's a like a recyclable, reusable bag. It's a coffee mug. It's like a plastic cup, some stickers, a pen that's a stylus on one end, and the pop socket. So if you want that, let me know. And we also have, as I discussed earlier, we have the Patreon, which is patreon.com/thefraudcast, where for $3 a month you can join us as we discuss Married at First Sight and Life After Lockup.
And all that good shit.
All that good shit. I also do Frauded Night Live every Friday night at 10 p.m. on Instagram. I go live and we talk about the gossip of the week. What about you, Hanekawa? Where can they find you?
They can find me on the lovely Instagram at the Hanekawa. I don't know if there's not much excitement on my page. Saturday night, I do a live, which is really late. No one comes, but it's fun. But the people that do, we talk about
not
stuff.
Not safe for work.
It's not for kids. That's why I wait so late, because I don't want any of like the 90-day children.
Like Max
getting on
hopping
there.
into my lives like he does.
Oh my god! If he hops in and I'm talking about fetishes, I'm just gonna have to block him. I'm like, sorry, buddy, ahead of time. I'm not going to pollute your mind with this, but
yeah, her lives are not like gossip or tea related. They're just let's just.
It's
chat.
more for fun.
If you're
we
around
need a break
on a Saturday,
from that stuff,
yeah. If you're around on a Saturday
exactly.
night and you want to chat with some like-minded individuals, then there you go. All my stuff is saved to YouTube, which is Frauded by TLC on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. You can opt out of notifications, but subscribing really helps me and then my ability to put those up there. And the reason I put them up there is so that I can put closed captioning on them for our deaf and hard of hearing viewers. So that's it. That's all I got. You got anything else?
It's a wrap. I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I know this isn't your element, but it's fun.
I get to, spew some shade.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll have to bring you back. Thanks again for joining us. With that, we are the Fraudcast, and we're dumpster diving, so you don't have to.
This Fraudcast has been produced and edited by yours truly. Art by Sarah Dawdy. Music written, produced, and performed by Ooh Mommy. Segment producer at iHeart Reality TV Shows. Further assistance provided by many unnamed fraud consultants.
Bring me my red bag with my makeup.